For more than 95% of human history, we were wanderers. We owned nothing, built nothing, stayed nowhere. Human beings crossed forests, deserts, mountains, and frozen lands, following animals, searching for berries, living one meal away from death. And then, something changed. Not a war, not a king, not an invention of metal or fire. A seed, a tiny seed buried in the earth, started a revolution greater than any empire. Agriculture transformed humanity forever. It created cities, governments, religion, money, writing, science, armies, civilization itself. But agriculture also created inequality, disease, slavery, and endless war over land. This is the story of how humans stopped wandering and how farming built the modern world. Long before farms, humans survived as hunter-gatherers. Small tribes moved constantly through nature. Most groups contained fewer than 50 people. There were no permanent homes, no borders, no kings, no nations, only survival. Humans hunted animals with stone spears, collected roots and berries, fished rivers, and followed seasonal migrations. Life was dangerous, but surprisingly, many historians believe hunter-gatherers often worked fewer hours than early farmers. They lived closely with nature. They understood animal behavior, weather patterns, plant cycles, and migration routes with incredible precision. Every day required intelligence. Every mistake could mean death. Humans became master survivors. They adapted to deserts, jungles, mountains, and frozen tundra. By around 15,000 years ago, humans had spread across much of Earth. But the Ice Age was ending, and climate change would transform everything. Around 12,000 years ago, the planet warmed dramatically. Gigantic glaciers melted. Sea levels rose. Forests expanded. Animals migrated. Entire ecosystems changed. For human beings, this was both catastrophe and opportunity. Some large animals disappeared forever. Mammoths, giant sloths, woolly rhinoceroses. Traditional hunting became harder. But warmer temperatures also created fertile regions, filled with wild grains and plants. In an area historians now call the Fertile Crescent, stretching across parts of the modern Middle East, wild wheat and barley grew naturally in huge quantities. For the first time, humans encountered something extraordinary: food that could be stored. Instead of eating immediately, people could collect seeds, save them, and return later. This changed human thinking forever. Perhaps food didn't always need to be chased. Maybe it could be grown. No one knows exactly who planted the first crop. There was no single inventor of agriculture. The transformation happened slowly, over generations. Perhaps women gathering wild grains noticed seeds sprouting near campsites. Perhaps hunters observed plants returning season after season. At first, humans probably experimented accidentally, scattering seeds, clearing land, protecting useful plants. But eventually, people began deliberately planting crops: wheat, barley, lentils, peas. And with farming came something humanity had rarely experienced before: permanence. For the first time, people stayed in one place. Villages appeared. Mud brick homes rose from the earth. Storage pits filled with grain. Children grew up without constant migration. The wandering age was ending. Plants were only half the revolution. Humans also transformed animals. Dogs had already become companions during the hunter-gatherer era, but now humans domesticated goats, sheep, cattle, and pigs. Animals became walking food supplies. Milk, meat, leather, wool, labor. Farming communities suddenly possessed something incredibly powerful: surplus. More food than immediately necessary. And surplus changed everything. It allowed populations to grow. It created wealth. It created ownership. And ownership changed human society forever. Land now mattered. Territory mattered. Control mattered. For perhaps the first time in history, humans fought not just for survival, but for property. As agriculture spread, villages became towns, and towns became cities. One of the earliest known settlements, Jericho, developed massive walls thousands of years before the pyramids. Another settlement, Çatalhöyük, contained tightly packed homes connected almost like a maze. Agriculture made dense populations possible, and dense populations created specialization. Not everyone needed to hunt anymore. Some people became builders, others became priests, potters, traders, soldiers, rulers. Civilization was emerging. Trade exploded. Grain could be exchanged for tools, pottery for livestock, salt for textiles. Entire economies formed around agricultural production. But civilization also brought new problems. Crowded settlements spread disease. Stored food attracted rats and insects. Social hierarchies emerged. For the first time, some humans controlled more resources than others. Inequality had arrived. Agriculture changed power forever. The richest societies became the ones producing the most food. Food meant soldiers. Food meant labor. Food meant expansion. Empires rose beside fertile rivers. The Nile in Egypt, the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia, the Indus River in South Asia, the Yellow River in China. Rivers became lifelines of civilization. Farmers depended on seasonal flooding. Governments formed to organize irrigation systems. And slowly, the first states appeared. Taxes were often paid in grain. Armies protected farmland. Kings claimed ownership over territories. Writing itself may have emerged partly to track agricultural storage and trade. Humanity was no longer organized into tribes. Civilization had begun. Agriculture drove innovation faster than ever before. Humans invented irrigation canals, the plow, water wheels, crop storage systems, and eventually metal tools. Oxen pulled heavy plows through hard soil. Farms became larger. Harvests became bigger. Civilizations expanded, but farming remained brutally difficult. Most people throughout history worked the land, and life for farmers was exhausting. Drought could destroy entire kingdoms. Floods could wipe out crops overnight. One failed harvest could mean famine. Agriculture gave humanity stability, but also dependence. Now survival depended not only on hunting skill, but on weather. Agriculture did not emerge in only one place. Across the world, humans independently discovered farming. In China, rice farming transformed Asia. In Mesoamerica, people domesticated maize, corn. In the Andes, potatoes supported mountain civilizations. In Africa, sorghum and millet fed growing populations. Different climates produced different agricultural revolutions. But the result was always similar: larger populations, permanent settlements, and increasingly complex societies. Human beings were reshaping the planet. Forests disappeared for farmland. Rivers were redirected. Animals were selectively bred. Nature itself was being engineered. Agriculture created civilization, but it also created suffering on a massive scale. Land ownership concentrated wealth. Powerful elites controlled food supplies. Peasants worked endlessly. Slavery expanded in many agricultural societies. War increasingly focused on fertile territory, and diseases spread rapidly among dense populations and domesticated animals. Ironically, many early farmers were physically less healthy than hunter-gatherers. Their diets became less diverse. Their bodies worked harder. Their lives often became shorter. Yet despite the hardships, agriculture kept spreading, because farming supported far more people than hunting ever could. Civilization became unstoppable. Agriculture continued evolving for thousands of years. Medieval farmers improved crop rotation. The Industrial Revolution mechanized farming. Tractors replaced animals. Chemical fertilizers boosted production. Modern science engineered crops with incredible efficiency. Today, a small percentage of humanity produces food for billions. Satellites monitor crops from space. Artificial intelligence predicts harvests. Gigantic machines cultivate fields larger than ancient kingdoms. And yet, everything still depends on the same ancient idea: placing seeds into soil and waiting. Every city, every nation, every empire, every government, every economy began with agriculture. Without farming, there would be no pyramids, no Rome, no science, no industry, no modern world. Agriculture transformed wandering humans into civilization builders. But even today, humanity remains tied to the land. Civilization still depends on harvests, still depends on water, still depends on soil. The ancient revolution never truly ended, because thousands of years later, the fate of humanity still begins. With a seed, human beings stopped wandering and built the world. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.